Hey everybody, today I'd like to talk about something a little different. I know my previous two videos were talking about lore concepts I had for Cho'Gath and Kog'Maw, but today we're going to take it in a slightly different route, still related to Runeterra as a whole, but this time in regarding to Riot's upcoming MMO. We still don't fully know what to expect. Obviously, they're still hiring. Things are still looking promising, fingers crossed, knock on wood. What can we expect to see? Obviously, from the start, I don't expect the entire map of Runeterra to be accessed. I expect it mainly to focus on a Demacia and Noxus to begin, maybe even including the Freljord, considering it's right there. Maybe expansions leading to Piltover and Zaun, Ionia, Shurima, and all other adjoining regions to be shortly after there. A big part of MMOs, especially in the cases for WoW, was raiding. Raiding is a huge part of MMO culture. Runeterra has no lack of perfect candidates for raiding. I think early on, with the game probably most likely going to be starting out with a Noxus and Demacia, two massive raid bosses I think could come out fairly early on, and I mean massive. For Demacia, if we're going down the whole Mage Rebellion arc where we're going to be siding with the mages, if they have us decide to side with the mages and we're going against Demacia, let me back it up a couple steps. Demacia is known for the kind of racism they have towards mages and their complete disdain for magic. So much so as their entire civilization, every structure, and their whole lifestyle, everything's been developed with petricite, which is this rocky wood that absorbs magic and nullifies it. So much so that they've created their weapons, as I said, their buildings, and they even created these stone structures that can absorb magic and they animate and come to life. Now, as soon as I said that, I know a specific champion popped into a lot of your guys' minds. Galio. And it's leading exactly where you think it is. I think Galio could potentially be one of the first raid bosses if there's going to be raiding in Demacia. Think of it this way. Let me paint a picture in your mind. You and your friends have been running through the streets of Demacia, attempting to break out the legions of mages that are locked up in the underbelly of Demacia, trying to set them free and allow them to escape. And you're fighting Demacian foot soldiers, maybe equipped with some petricite weapons, maybe some smaller structures even. Some of those smaller petricite structures. Plenty of examples, especially with Runeterra's card game. And then you come up to the final boss of that raid. You think you've done it all. You're about to free them, and then down from the sky, descending in heroic justice, lands Galio. Think of the impact, the massive aura of Galio, and he just drops in, and it's time to go. People forget, because the way League is structured, where everybody's kind of similar size, that's not how it is actually in the universe. Galio he's bigger than buildings. He's insanely massive. Any flap of those wings is going to cause an insane gust of wind. There'll be massive tornadoes. He has his giant taunt. He's pretty mobile for how large he is. And that would be an insane combat. I don't even think it'd be unreasonable to say that if you're going to be playing a class with magic, it's going to be doing less damage to him. Like, I would love for like kind of attack types, some maybe not as effective as others. Like, I fully expect if you had a raid where you were fighting petricite creatures and people that were wearing petricite armor, magic would not be as effective on them. And I think that would be really cool. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be people complaining because they want to use magic and it's not as effective, but I think it's cool. Anyway, Galio. Great first raid boss for Demacia. And now, if you move over to Noxus, you guys already know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm thinking. Who do we know from Noxus that maybe built Noxus? Maybe is being kept underground in the Immortal Bastion, sealed away, because even death couldn't stop him. Mordekaiser. He's larger than life himself, a unliving legend, I guess. Unliving legend. Completely terrifying. He conquered so much. He started a nation that still stands in Runeterra's current history. Just the immense power, and they can't even kill him. That's why he's sealed away. They were able to seal him away, and that was the best that they could manage. That's another one that I think would be cool maybe you're interesting if the raid was you're trying to stop the Black Rose. I guess I should give some context. Mordekaiser's being locked away by this underground group called the Black Rose, who is led by LeBlanc, and they're like trying to seal him away and keep him under check until they can get rid of him, which LeBlanc is kind of raising Rel. There's more lore going on. I won't get fully into that, but basically, short end of it, LeBlanc's keeping Mordekaiser under lock and key so he can't destroy everything, and she's trying to get Rel to become that Mordekaiser killer. Now, I think it's fully possible that maybe the raid starts out that we're trying to stop the Black Rose because they're into something sketchy. Swain, maybe Swain, the leader of Noxus, one of the main leaders because they're a trifecta. Swain sends us out to put a stop to the Black Rose because he doesn't know what they're fully doing. We're going in there, we're killing Black Rose agents, maybe a couple bosses down there. We come into the kind of the chamber where Mordekaiser's being kept, and we might accidentally release him. And now, because we were trying to stop the Black Rose, we accidentally caused a bigger issue, a potential world-ending issue. Maybe not world-ending, but still a massive problem. And he's coming out. He's trapped in his armor that they reforged to kind of be a cage to seal him. And it's just like, oh my gosh, imagine that. Where he could slam down his mace. He could pull specific people into dimensions because he has that ability. His ultimate where he kind of pulls people into dimensions. Like, imagine you're fighting him and your entire party of mages that are off to the side barraging him. They just disappear, and they have to survive for a certain period of time in that dimension, in Mordekaiser's realm, without dying. Like, let's say you're in a group, maybe it's like kind of as a pool. Like, imagine like where it's a circular pool that pulls a specific group of people. So you would have to strategize. So you'd have a healer, a DPS, and a tank maybe in separate groups in these pools. So if one of them gets pulled in Mordekaiser's realm, they wouldn't just get wiped. I think there's a lot more that can be worked with that. It would be awesome, and I can't wait to see that. A third option that could potentially be later game. Now, I know I made a video on Cho'Gath, where I kind of was trying to put him into a Demacia Noxus kind of location. I think I still like that idea, but I have a alternate thing for a potential raid boss involving Cho'Gath, if you can't tell, because I like Cho'Gath and he's my homeboy and I love him. So anyway, I think up in the Freljord, there's Vel'Koz currently and the Watchers, who they're kind of destroying stuff, but they're also gathering intel. And there's an alternate thing that some people were saying that I saw in comments related to my Cho'Gath video, where they like to picture Cho'Gath as the big bad final boss of the Void, where maybe people are feeding him information, which I honestly love that idea, where he's getting all of the knowledge, all of the power kind of fed to him, and he's like the big bad final boss of the Void. So like this could be way later down the line. I don't know if this would be an early game raid. I don't think it would. It's kind of unrealistic, but it's still awesome. Like, imagine, like, you're putting an end to it, like, the world's being ravaged by the Void, and you're finally stopping it. You're, like, starting to stop it. So you go into the raid. You have several bosses in that one. Like, just any of the Watchers would be massive. Obviously, Rek'Sai and Bel'Veth wouldn't be there. It wouldn't make sense. They're doing their own thing, which could be more Void bosses in later ends. This is purely for, like, the Freljord. And, like, Vel'Koz, while he's a big threat, I don't think he's, like, final big raid boss material for the Void. Because, I mean, he's just a little squiggly boy. But I think leading up to where you have to come into contact with just this world-sized threat. Quite literally the size of the world. This like almost intergalactic threat of Cho'Gath, because his size is kind of unrestricted. Like, he can be as big as Riot wants him to be. Just him stepping, causing earthquakes. His scream deafens people and causes like this massive gust of wind. His presence is just like intimidating, like shadow. You'd be cast in absolute darkness from him towering. Like, you think Galio is big? Cho'Gath can literally be the size of planets given him time. It would be completely insane, and I think it would be immensely awesome. And that could happen in the Freljord, because the Freljord's right above Demacia, still kind of in that tribe. Like, if they're going to do 3 regions in the beginning, that would be the 3 regions. You can't not do the Void with the Freljord's got a lot going on. Okay, for a quick final one that I just thought of off the top of my head. For the Freljord specifically, actually, besides the Void, you got demigods. You got the siblings. You got Ornn, Anivia, Volibear. The thing that always bothered me is Udyr, who is kind of like the embodiment of like the Freljord deities. There was the boar, and we don't know the boar god. I feel like we should get something, but that could potentially be with what the raid is. I know it's kind of everything's loosey-goosey, and it's not too much. Some of this is me just thinking off of the top of my head. Shyvana rides like the tusk boar. Again, Udyr with his like symbol. So he has this boar form, which obviously I know he kind of communicates with animals in whole, but it seems like revolved around like the gods, like demigods of Freljord. So I think a boar, I don't know, obviously he'd be charging. I can't think of any mechanics off the top of my head right now, but I think a potential 4th raid boss that we could potentially see in Riot's MMO being this like iron boar. The armor sets that you could get from these would be amazing. Man, that'd be so cool. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think of any other, maybe there's definitely stuff I missed that I didn't even think of in these 3 regions alone. There's so much potential in just Demacia, Noxus, and Freljord. That would be amazing. So if you guys have any other ideas or just comments on the ones that I did suggest, I'd love to hear them. Leave a comment down below, as well as if you like these ideas, just be sure to like and subscribe, and you can hit the bell if you want. I don't know what the bell does, other than, I guess it notifies you if the videos come out, but it just helps me out, and it lets me know that you like these kind of thought process videos where I'm just kind of talking and discussing ideas that I've had for things for Riot in general. I think it's a great thing to do, and I love the discussion it creates. So I'd love to hear from you guys, and until the next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.